An MLB insider just recently reported that the New York Yankees look like they are gearing up to re-sign Clay Holmes to a deal that may literally make him a New York Yankee for the remainder of his career as a closer. We're going to break down this report and what it means, as well as what the future with Clay Holmes could look like in the Bronx. All of that and more on another episode of Yankees Digest. Welcome in. I'm your host, Gabby Gordon. And before we get into it, you know the drill. If you're among that 89.7% who is currently watching but not currently subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a beat. And a special announcement tonight. We will be, and by we I mean I will be going live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Little League Classic between the Yankees and the Tigers in Williamsport. So hop on here, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The live will go. And we're going to have a great time together watching the game. So hope to see you there. But that's right. Reports have revealed that Clay Holmes may very well be Yankee for the presumable future, and this report comes from this quote right here. Michael Brakebill of Fansided said, quote, "He has underperformed this season, blowing a league-leading 9 saves thus far, but still, he spent the last 4 years in New York, and should he finish the season strong, perform well in the postseason, etc., there's no reason to think that the Yankees wouldn't want a reunion. Holmes will stay in the Bronx on a 2-year deal." So this is not a report of saying that he is on a 2-year deal, but this is merely a very strong prediction that those things are coming to fruition. Let me remind you that Clay Holmes was an all-star this season in 2024, and he is an all-star this season, but he has struggled at times, as we know. He owns a 2.81 ERA, a 2.66 FIP, and he has struck out 51 hitters in 48 innings. But we know that he has found himself in jams late in games, which New York fans alike, you and I, certainly have grown old of. He gets a very, very, very high ground ball rate, but sometimes that does not work in his favor because the ground balls fall through, and oftentimes he makes these games very scary to watch the conclusion of. Let's just take a look at his stats for this season thus far in a little bit of a deeper light here. 50 games, he's got 49 innings pitched. He's allowed 2 home runs. He has struck out 53, and his hits per 9 is ranging around 9 here. His ERA 2.76 at the time of this video. He's young still, relatively young, 31 years old, and when he's on, he's on. There's no doubt about it. When he's on, he's one of the best closers in this game. But there's a lot of times that unfortunately, he's not on, and he blows a lot of saves, and walks kill him, as well as just those little dribbler ground balls that eventually, you need a guy that you can trust, and Clay Holmes isn't always that guy. Now, if we look at his career regular season ERA, it's at a 3.67, not the greatest, not the prettiest. He's got 70 saves in his career through 323.1 innings pitched, and he gets a decent amount of wins, and he gets a decent amount of saves, 26 on the year, and his last few, which we're going to take a look at in just a moment, have been relatively dominant. He's been pretty much dominant on the mound. He's been dominating opposing teams for his last, I'd say, a couple saves out there, a couple starts where he gets in there. You know what I mean by starts, not actual starts, but 2.76 ERA this season. He's got 2 wins, 4 losses, and 26 saves in 50 games through 49 innings pitched, and 53 strikeouts on that stat. Now, if we look at his last 30, his last 15, and his last 7, you can see he has been silently dominating. His last 30 games, 4.66 ERA, not what you want at all. He was 1-4 in that time frame, letting up way too many earned runs, way too many hits, and too many walks in my opinion. He gets strikeouts, but he just as easily gets walks, and sometimes you just don't know where his pitch is going, and sometimes, quite frankly, I don't think he knows where the pitch is going either. He's got a great arsenal, and he's got a great ability to get ground outs and get the ball on the ground, and the opposing exit velo of the opposing hitters that he faces is relatively low. It's one of the greatest out of the closers in the league, and sitting at about, I think, 87 miles per hour opposing exit velocity, which is pretty decent. You look at the rest of this last 15 games, he went 1-1 with a 3 ERA. In 15 games played, 7 saves, but still those walks are high. 6 walks in those 15 games. And might I remind you, he's a closer, so he really only sees 1 inning of play in that time frame. Again, 15 games, 15 innings pitched, 6 walks. It's like that's a little high for my liking and a little high in general. With the 5 earned runs, he's not always working in his favor. And in the last 7 games, which is interesting to note, he's really lowered the walks, in my opinion, here. With he's 0-0. He's got a 2.84 ERA in 7 games. He's got 5 saves in 6 innings pitched. He only has 3 walks. So that is a promising trend that we have seen, and something that's going to really tell the tale for Clay Holmes in regards to whether or not this is a guy worth re-signing or not worth re-signing. Because when you're looking at these statistics and you're looking at all that is here, he's shaky, and you want a closer that you could really trust. And it was interesting to see the pickups that the Yankees were able to get done during the trade deadline, especially the pickup of Mark Leiter Jr. He's been fairly consistent for his time there. Clay Holmes is a great closer when he is consistent. But again, if we look back at the report from Mr. Break Bill himself, he has underperformed this season, and again, the blowing a league-leading 9 saves is something that you don't know if you can truly see your future as a closer long-term with Clay Holmes in this respect, and a lot of fans are not happy with his lack of consistency. We know that closers aren't going to save every single game, but when the majority of Clay Holmes' games and the majority of what we watch from Clay Holmes is kind of like a nail biter holding on to the edge of your seat to make sure you can pull away with a win, it's not necessarily what you want in a closer for long term. So it's interesting to see, and this isn't the only report of Clay Holmes returning, but it is going to be interesting to see how the contract with Clay Holmes potentially is going to factor into what's going to go on with Juan Soto. Soto is going to be an expensive re-sign if they can get it done, and presumably so, Clay Holmes will be as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how Brian Cashman and the front office and the management can balance these. It's a no-brainer for me that you have to prioritize Juan Soto over your closer, Clay Holmes, because in all reality, Juan Soto has been one of the biggest pieces to this Yankees offense and defense at times as well in the outfield. So you have to prioritize him, but you do need a closer, and I will give it to him when Clay Holmes is on. He is one of the best in the business, but just as likely as he is on, he is off. And so this is going to be an interesting decision to see what Brian Cashman decides to do, to see, what the front office is willing to even value Clay Holmes at coming into those contract extension talks. As far as what's going on behind the scenes, I don't really think there's anything going on regarding an actual discussion between Holmes and management right now. At this point, they're just trying to go and make a playoff push, and rightfully so. That should be the only thing on the front office's mind, and then you deal with those contract extension talks afterwards. But it's going to be interesting to see what the future looks like for Clay Holmes and if he does remain a New York Yankee after this season. And I really think what the postseason looks like is going to really tell that story, and we're going to know what the narrative looks like quite soon. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Yankees Digest. Like I said, tune in tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will see me once again doing a watch-along live stream for the Little League Classic between the New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers, the series finale in Williamsport. So hop on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have a great time watching some Yankees Tigers. But with all that is going to do it for this episode of Yankees Digest. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a video. We're on the road to 2,000 subs, and you could be a part of that amazing milestone. We appreciate every single one of you and all the support. My name's been Gabby Gordon. This has been Yankees Digest, and I will catch you in the next one.